Okay, I was mentioning that you shouldn't be using the singleton design pattern if you're expecting your object to hold a certain state. Well, in this video I'm going to prove my point, and for this purpose I'm going to introduce a new property in here that's going to hold the state of this object. And in order to keep things simple, this is just going to be a string. Let's call it a message. So instead of setting the message from a method argument, we would instead use a setter method to do the same. I go to source, setters and getters, and then I want to generate only the setter method. Let me make the necessary changes in the main class as well, and then I'll get back. Okay, here we are again, and all I'm trying to do in here is I'm trying to create multiple threads. So here we have 4 different threads, and each thread is essentially having the same piece of code with slight variation. So in each thread I'm trying to get the instance. Remember, we're still following the singleton design pattern, so all these threads would get the same object every time, and each thread is actually taking care of setting the value, or in our case setting the message. So the first thread is setting it as T1, second thread as T2, same as with other threads as well. And then after that, I'm just trying to wait for a second. This method simply has a logic that keeps the thread on hold for a second. And then I'm just simply trying to call this method, which would just simply display that message. Now, what is the output that you're expecting if I run this program? Just try to imagine and guess the output. Well, this is actually going to mess things up. Let's see what's going to happen. So here it is. I'm expecting something like T1, T2, T3, T4, although not in same order. But here we're seeing a completely different result. Why is this happening? It's quite simple. All the threads are trying to set the value on the same instance, and the last thread that sets the value is the value that will be remained for that object. And so all the objects are just trying to display that particular message. So this is clearly a problem. And what is the solution? Don't use singleton pattern. Instead, create an instance for each and every thread. And soon we're going to talk about how all these can be applicable in Spring Framework. So stay tuned. I will see you soon.